So I'm doing reteaching page 30. We're talking about perpendicular and parallel lines. In this case, I'm going to find an equation of a line both perpendicular to and parallel to y is equal to negative 3x, and it passes through the point 0, 4. Okay, so if it passes through y is equal to negative 3x. That's the same thing as saying y. So here we go. So I'm going to do the green is going to be the parallel line. So our equation is y is equal to negative 3x, and I'm going to write that as y is equal to negative 3x plus. Now I am going to write this, I swear, as negative 3x plus 0. Therefore, my y-intercept here is equal to 0. So over here at 0, I'm going to put a big green dot. And there's the first point on my line. So now I know that the coefficient on x is equal to negative 3. Therefore, my slope is equal to negative 3. I'm going to write that as negative 3 over 1. And I'm going to say that that's my change in y over my change in x. Therefore, from this point right here at 0, 0, I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3. So there's my change in y is negative 3, and my change in x is 1. So that gives me another point on my graph, and I have those 3 points, and I'm going to go ahead and attach those 3 points. So let me go ahead and get a line here. And there is my line that goes through those 3 points. So now if I want one that passes through the point 0, 4, I'm going to come up here 1, 2, 3, 4. So there is the point 0, 4, and obviously that is a y-intercept. So if I come over here and I know I have y is equal to mx plus b, I know that my b is 4. And I have y equals. So I know that it's parallel to, therefore if a line is parallel, by definition, it has the same slope. So I'm just going to write that it has the same m there. So then I know that this is 3x plus b, and there is my line that is parallel to. So let's go ahead, here it is, and let's go ahead and take a quick look at that. So there it is, and if I take this point here, which is my y-intercept, and I go down 3 over 1, I have that point right there, and if I repeat it, and I go down 1, 2, 3 again, and over 1, there it is, I get a line that goes through those points there, and there is my parallel line. Now, let's go ahead and do perpendicular in purple. So I know that it also passes through this point. So my perpendicular, so far I have y is equal to mx plus 4, because that is my y-intercept still. So I still need to find my slope. So I know that it needs to be perpendicular to an equation that has a slope of negative 3. So I'm going to take my slope times my perpendicular slope, and I know that that has to be equal to negative 1. Therefore, I'm looking for m. This has to be perpendicular to an equation that has a slope of negative 3, and that has to be equal to negative 1. So if I divide everybody by negative 3, I get that m is equal to 1/3, which is my change in y over my change in x. So my final equation becomes y is equal to 1/3 x plus 4. And there's my perpendicular equation. So this one here is perpendicular. And let's go ahead. So we know we're here, and now we have a slope of down 1 and over 3. There we go. And if I draw this line here, let's see. Let's go ahead and draw our line that goes through this. There's that line. And if I look at this, right, you can see that I get, more or less, I get right angles. All right? And there you have it. That's it. The line parallel, the line perpendicular. And that's the end of that video. So in this case, I'm going to graph y is equal to 2/3 x plus 1. And then I'm going to find a line perpendicular and parallel to that, which passes through the point 0, -2. So in this case here, when I graph this one, I'm going to start right here. My y-intercept is 1. There it is. And my slope is 2/3. Therefore, my change in y is 2. My change in x is 3. My change in y is 2. My change in x is 3. There it is. And here is my line that passes through those points. So there's the orange is the graph of y is equal to 2/3 x plus 1. Quick check, my y-intercept is in fact 1, and my slope is positive because my line is going up as I look at it from left to right. Therefore, now let's do the parallel one. If it's parallel, we know it has the same slope. Therefore, its m is also 2/3. And then my y-intercept this time is going to be the point 0, -2. Therefore, my y-intercept is -2. So if I plug that into y is equal to mx plus b, it simply becomes y is equal to 2/3 x plus -2, or y is equal to 2/3 x minus 2. So just a quick graph of that. My y-intercept is at -2. That's the point right there. And my slope, change in y, is 2. Change in x is 3. Change in y is 2. Change in x is 3. There we go. And there is the green. And that is my line that passes through the point 0, -2, and it has a same slope. Therefore, there's my equation. It has a slope, a y. Oh, let's see here. Has a y-intercept of -2. Oh, that's just so big. Just hanging right there. Let's get rid of that guy. He's too fat. It has a y-intercept of y-intercept of -2 right there, and a slope that's the same, 2/3. There you go. All right, so now let's go ahead and find in purple the line that is perpendicular but has the same, with the y-intercept, right, once again, of -2. So far we have y is equal to mx minus 2, because that's our y-intercept. And now I'm going to go ahead and, so it's going to pass through that point right there, but this time it has to be perpendicular to it. So remember, perpendicular means they're going to cross at right angles. So let's go ahead and, so I know that my slope, which is what I'm looking for, times my perpendicular slope, has to be equal to -1. Well, that means I have m, and my perpendicular slope is 2/3, and that has to be equal to -1. So I'm going to take this equation here, and I'm going to multiply this side by 3/2, because that's going to leave me with just m, because those guys are going to cancel. And that's going to be equal to -1 times 3/2, and that gives me a slope of -3/2. Therefore, my equation is going to be y is equal to -3/2 x minus 2. So there's my perpendicular equation. So if I come over here, I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, and over 2. So let's see, 2, 1, 2, 3. And this is going to be my line that is perpendicular. And you can see those make pretty close to being right angles there, so it's not such a bad drawing. And there you have it. So once again, if they're parallel, they have exactly the same slope. If they're perpendicular, then I know that the product of their slopes has to be equal to -1, just like we have right there. And that takes care of today's video. So let me sign off by sending you off with my heartfelt thanks for having watched the video. Take care, guys. Bye.